interesting things, Rob. You know how secretly I have that, Shakespeare statue that you got to turn a certain position to open up the secret latch.
Yeah.
So, as you know, on my palatial estate, I did that, and then the secret hatch opened. I fell down the pole, and then I went on, as you know, the monorail I take, which then took me to the helipad. And then as I got on my helicopter and flew, there was a note inside the helicopter, and only one man could breach the security, and Venice was up to no good. The note was scribed again, I think in hieroglyphs, but I think I was unable to figure it out. I think, Rob, it went, when the party was nice, the party was bumping. Hey, yippee-i-yo. And everyone was having a ball. Wait, hey, yippee-i-yo. I tell the fellas, stop the name calling. Hey, yippee-i-yo. Them girls respond to the call, and I hear a woman shout, ... I don't know what goes next. I don't know what goes next.
That's bizarre.
So if someone could tell us what the next part of that cryptic message could be,
you get a no
please let me know. It's one of Vanessa's favorite songs, because I don't like. Why would he send this my way, Rob? I don't understand.
We've seen a myriad of Netflix documentaries on people that would be considered psychopaths. Their mind works on a different level, man. And I don't know how one is able to reconcile that with
Here's the thing, Rob. He's got some good taste, because every once in a while there's something that does turn out to be all right. So I can't fault him. He did pick as I've been told, a Tool song, and he picked a Foo Fighters song. So it's got to be, he's got some sort of taste, Rob. These are musical tunes that resonate with the masses. So
let's just talk more about your monorail.
Monorail. I've already disclosed too much. Welcome, everyone, to the Heroes World Quarantine Podcast. I'm your host, Dupe. With me are the other hosts, the owner and proprietor of Heroes World, that be Mr. John Ho. Please say hello.
What's up, people?
And our resident Prince of
I can't resist laughing. No matter what I say, I can say hello, hi, how you doing?
Whoa,
hello, my neighbor.
Is that your Caucasian impression? All of a sudden you're pulling out a Martin Lawrence from Bad Boys going,
can we borrow some brown sugar?
Yeah.
First off, Eddie Murphy SNL skit is where that's from. So, can I take the newspaper? Yeah, go ahead, take the newspaper. He's like, what? Yeah, go take the newspaper. Don't worry, no one's looking. Yeah. So, and our resident Prince of Mischief, Mr. Rob Gaudet, please say hello.
Oh, hello, everybody.
Welcome. As we discuss episode 4 of Moon Knight. This episode of Moon Knight, John, is titled The Tomb. John wishes he was encased and thrown in a tomb, so he no longer has to watch Moon Knight. I'm assuming that's what he's looking for. But we're going to go into our thoughts on this episode. And we're going to go. John, you have been all over the place in terms of the numbers of the show. As the gimmick goes,
I don't know. I think I've been consistent. I think for this show, it's kind of hovered around this like slightly better than mid,
and yet it still has an opportunity to be the best show ever. So that's why I don't leave it out, John, because the math works.
Hey man, so, you never know when they pull out that one or two episodes featuring the Mandalorian or whoever. Maybe there'll be a car chase or a car race. Maybe they'll settle this with a race in episode 8. I'm looking forward to that.
It's a 6-episode series, so you can keep hoping.
Yeah, 3 Larson. So that's X10. So that's what.
Yeah. So we talked about it last week. Episode 3, halfway point. I'm pretty much lukewarm on this series right now, and I was hoping they were going to turn up the heat. But it's just been the same for me. I don't know what it is. I'm sorry, folks, if you're really digging this. For some reason, I'm not feeling it. But there are some brighter points in this episode, which when we get into the spoilers, I'll talk about that. Particularly towards the end is where I started to get into the groove. But for some reason, I just keep feeling like it's doing like 2 steps forward and then like 4 steps back. I kind of screwed up that analogy. 1 step forward, 2 steps back was supposed to be the analogy.
I see where you're at, John, because this show is unlike any of the other Marvel shows in terms of action and combat. It's very light on the, traditional superhero, like
it's kind of missing both. It's missing the comedy and the act. They've kind of like went with this new.
The comedy's there. It's just
I feel like it's not as high as we're used to.
I think you've been spoiled a little bit with all the dick jokes happened in another.
Maybe Peacemaker is just like elevated this to like a Judd Apatow level, and I'm like, where are these jokes, yo?
The 10 jokes per second is a little too much. This is a very subtle, a couple jokes, couple things, couple situations. Really, again, if you know Carl Pilkington, as Rob and myself know, you can see the nuance of what he's trying to do with Steve. But we'll jump back. Rob, what are your thoughts on this episode?
Yeah, listen, it's fun. Like John's got like the Rock's eyebrow like this going, what's going on here? It is fun. Like this episode reminded me a little bit of The Mummy. Reminded me, like the Brendan Fraser Mummy, not the Tom Cruise one.
Tom Cruise? I actually quite like
that. That was also intentionally not funny, but somehow funny as well.
Yeah, like I just, there's a lot in this episode that just kind of gives you, it's fun. Like this was. I think in episode 3, I had commented that I felt like it had dragged a little bit. Even though I enjoyed it, I felt that the pacing was very weird. And yet in this one, I felt like that hour, it's 52 minutes, but it flew by for me. I was like, holy shit, we're already like, we're done. Like, this is craziness, right? So I'm really enjoying this series. I like the fact, and we've discussed this, and Stu, you've mentioned this, that it's not tied to anything else that we've seen previously. There is no other IP that we had to have watched leading into this. And so for me, even though it's an existing character in the comic world and everything else, this is kind of like a fresh new IP that, one could say you've never been experienced or, heard of before. And I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I think one of the people mentioned in one of the other numerous articles from last week's episode was that they did kind of sneakily throw in a Kang the Conqueror into last
back of the jacket or something, right?
Yeah, so like you were paying attention, you would know that Kang was thing. So, but that's like a way Easter egg. But like outside of Madripoor of last week, and then that small Kang reference, there is no, traditionally we see a cameo that ties a character from another franchise come in, whether it was in Hawkeye it was Black Widow, like a character from that, and then Kingpin, and so there are characters that kind of tie everything together. Falcon Winter Soldier, again, the two of them,
Sharon Carter.
Sharon Carter, like there are kind of when the characters jump in, this is, as you said, Rob, an untethered series, which is refreshing to see. But I think this situation is what George Lucas and Steven Spielberg said like 7 years ago, saying the superhero genre will run its course like Westerns. Here's the thing. If they're going to do shows like this, it's not a traditional, it's not going to see the same beats as it. So it's going to really have a little more time to maturate. We're going to get a little more comic book and nuance if they continue to stretch boundaries into different things. If they were all the same Falcon Winter Soldier, yes. Even if they were cool set pieces, we got bored again, John. You'd be like, how many times can I see that one flip over and over? Kind of loses the luster when, Moneymaker does that same flip over and over and over in every Black Widow costume, and you're like, okay, what else can you do?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna talk more. And John, You said that you needed coffee. What was it that you needed? In
Yeah,
terms
privately in our chat. Yeah. So
Yeah.
people were like, wait, you did? Yeah.
It's for me. It's slow. It's boring. Like I'm surprised that Rob like says it flies past. Which maybe I'm looking for. I want to like it. I really want to like this show, guys. And I'm trying different ways to watch it.
Liar.
Let me watch it like one sitting. Let me watch it with the headphones in, all that kind of stuff. Let me really watch the screen. But especially this particular episode, it is a little bit darker, so it does kind of make you a little bit sleepy. But yeah, at the halfway point, I looked at the time and I was like, how much more is left in this episode? At 29 minutes, I was like, how much more is there to go for this? So I don't know what it is. It's just something is not firing. I needed to move faster. Story wise, not necessarily action wise. Story wise, I need some more things to drop into place.
Can I ask you, do you think that you would be more like you would probably maybe enjoy this more if you were able just to watch all in one sitting, like all the episodes? Do you think
no,
that
I think I would have jumped ship. I would have jumped ship if, like, for sure. Like, I have trouble getting through one episode. So if you said, Rob, hey, there's 8 episodes, watch them all, I definitely wouldn't. I would have.
Thankfully, there's only 6.
Yeah, I would have cut you. Oh, thankfully. Yeah, see, even you admit it. Come on.
No, because you've said 8. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I
thought maybe they had some more runway. They even have less runway.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, John, but I think a lot of it has to do with also your tastes in film. I think we've seen already that Rob and myself like slow burn films.
Oh, John's turning though that way. To be fair, Stu,
well,
John is expanding.
If you compare this to a Memento or a Fight Club, they've gotten to they flow way faster than this. If that's the closest comparison we have to this,
I'm talking about Green Knight. That's
yeah, no, sorry. I'm not alone. I'm probably not the only one who's
or the original Blade Runner. The original Blade Runner.
Okay, Blade Runner. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, that's kind of a slow burn. Yeah, you have to.
That is a slow, and even the new Blade Runner is a slow burn. It is not like, I'm going to see these rope. Nope, it's a slow Ryan Gosling slowly contemplating, thinking, having a face of like, did I leave the oven on? This is the type of movie it is.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't find this show to be like that.
I agree with you. I really enjoyed this episode. I thought when the couple beats happened midway during, I was like, "Whoa, this is going again." I think it's kind of taking a little bit from WandaVision, a little bit of action, like kind of cherry picking from the other shows before it, and really trying something new. Again, we will really see what happens in 5 and 6 because it's the culmination of they're going to have to do a big fight sequence. There's going to have to be something. So we'll see if this can redeem it. For sure, John's not going to watch any of these episodes outside of maybe 5 and 6 again, but it was interesting. So, John, before we jump into full spoilers, what do you give this bad boy out of 10?
I'm gonna stick with. I think I gave it a 6 last time. I'm gonna stick with that. I was expecting more from this episode. There is some stuff that I like in it, but it didn't. Like I said, it didn't turn up the heat for me.
Rob?
Yeah, I'm pumping up my review I'm giving this one an 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also at an 8. So I'm there too. So we're gonna go into full spoilers because at this standpoint, not that I've ruined anything, but I did say there's some beats and different pivots in this episode. So we're gonna go full into those conversations. So if you have not seen it, please pause and join us again momentarily. Or if you just wanted to see us ramble on about a show, then don't worry about it. Keep on watching. So you've been warned. We are going full spoilers. All right, John.
Yeah, so let's go. Okay, we'll go.
All right, John.
I'll go straight in. Yeah, I'll go into what I liked about the episode. So, of course, the sets and the kind of like history.
Sorry, you say sex?
Sets. You hear what you want to hear. There was no sex in this episode that I know of. Maybe there was. No, there wasn't. Yeah, this like the overall sets. Like I have to appreciate that because before we would not get like there's a point where she kind of looks down this big chasm and stuff like that and throws a flare down and stuff and it looks pretty grand. Like that type of stuff you wouldn't see on a TV show. That's definitely something from the movie like Tomb Raider or whatever, and it's been now we're able to get it on the home screen as a TV show. That's amazing. All this extra history into the kind of like Egyptian and the pyramids and the pharaohs and all that kind of stuff is really cool to see on screen in depth. We've only really seen it in the Mummy and the other Mummy, and I don't know what else would feature this type of material. Maybe that X-Men Apocalypse movie, kind of. Not really. I don't know. I don't know if we want to bring that up anymore, right? So that is really cool. I like that. I like exploring that and those kind of things kind of popping up more. I really liked Lila's tussle with that crypt guard.
Yeah.
I was more excited with that than a lot of the stuff that Oscar Isaacs as Moon Knight has done. It was kind of exciting. That thing looked pretty dangerous, and then she won the fight. So I felt like that was more earned. You were excited when you were like, oh, she actually wins this confrontation, and the trademark, goes off the cliff, didn't really go off the cliff. She's actually hanging on by one hand. We've seen it a million times, but it looked good in the show. Then the last thing I liked, all stems in that last 10 minutes. So the last 10 minutes is where it gets to where I thought the show was going to be. So it gets into the whole, there's two of them now, it's like a double impact, tribute or whatever. So he's like, oh, and then they hug each other, and then there's another guy.
Or the one with Jet Li. You name your thing.
No. Double Impact is definitely a better movie. But
or Freaky Friday.
Oh, okay, Freaky Friday. I'll give you Freaky Friday.
But
yeah. So this is what I thought it was. This is what I thought it was going to be. But you're introducing this in the end of episode 4. So a whole new kind of thing with the insane, like the asylum and all that kind of stuff. And now the personalities can kind of separate and work together and stuff like that. Why did you wait so long to introduce that? So this last 10 minutes is where it got me. And then we have the big drop at the end of the episode, which is, like the high, like this had me more interested than all the other episodes so far. And I know it's kind of a wacky ending. A lot of people are like, when they rate the show, they're like, oh, what a cool episode. But that ending threw me off, right? So, but that's the stuff that I liked. So I'm interested in that. And Ethan Hawke's office was fire. Did you guys notice his office?
Yeah.
All white, and then he had like the desk, and then in the back he had like these walls that looked like they were crumbling, and then there was a library. Yeah. I'm like, this is a sweet ass office. So I hope they spend more time there. But everybody's saying it's just some type of gene sequence or something like that. So, we'll see if that goes away next episode. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this episode.
So can you give an explanation as to who the hippopotamus was?
Not really. It's okay. Like an Egyptian god of like fertility, something like that. So I'm like, is someone having a baby in this? We don't know
reason
about
I'm
baby
asking,
Lila girl?
The reason I was asking is because you said that last 10 minutes was kind of what you were waiting for, and I'm making the assumption. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's based off of like the Jeff Lemire run on his take on Moon Knight, and so. Were you looking forward
Jeff
to
Lemire
that
run features I wanted more of the aspect of the multiple personalities.
But based from the comic, you're saying though.
I actually didn't read that Lemire run. I remember seeing the covers, and it does look exactly like what was depicted on a lot of those covers, which is Moon Knight in a straitjacket. Yeah. But I want to see more of this kind of idea of the split personalities. I just don't like it just always being. It's basically another personality he talks to in a mirrored surface. I like. I don't know. I want to see more of like this wacky stuff. So,
okay.
She is commonly known as the Lady of Heaven or the Mistress of the Horizon. She removes water, Mistress of Pure Water, the Lady of the Birth House. But it's so funny because when like you can see the Google Trends where everyone's like, Hippo God, like that's like how
it was at the top of the search.
There's only one Egyptian hippo god. It's like, who is this hippo god? And it's like the funny thing that you can do when you're like, what is this? But she is a Egyptian god. Just in terms of like what she is a god of is very like not as crystal clear, because again people in ancient Egypt have used it in different ways, and we're not sure how Marvel's going to use it. But Rob, do you know anything about this hippo god?
No, I don't know if that's the hippo that people get at Christmas. If all you ask for is hippopotamus for Christmas, I have no idea.
She is the protective ancient Egyptian goddess of childbirth and fertility.
Alrighty. Cool.
Yep.
I didn't know if that was from Madagascar. I was like, is that Jada Pinkett Smith? Are we getting into something happening here? So I wasn't sure.
Rob, don't get us in trouble. Don't get us in trouble. Don't
we'll
do
be
it.
on the next Red Table Talk.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Keep that woman out of your mouth, Rob.
Keep the hippo's name out your mouth.
Don't mess around. Don't mess around. Yeah, Rob, guess your thoughts
on the hippo. No.
The hippo as well.
Okay, so like, first of all, I thought again, Oscar Isaac's performance, is top notch. Like, is it Layla? That's why I think it's her name. Mm-hmm. Is it Layla? Right? Yeah. I thought like to quickly piggyback onto what John said. Like that fight scene she had was phenomenal. Like she is badass, right? And I love the fact. I think we mentioned it a couple episodes ago. I love that we're not dealing with the damsel in distress. She's like kicking the shit out of guys and taking names and stepping up and protecting, Steven when he's knocked out at the beginning of the episode. So
then when Mark Spector shows up, he's like, "Back up! I got this. Get it. I'll save the day."
Yeah, that she run. Yeah. But at any rate, I really enjoy her. But Oscar Isaac's performance, I thought was great. Like there is that one scene when he tells her as they're about to descend into the crypt why Mark has been keeping her at bay, right? And then, he's Stephen Grant, and then he leans in for the kiss. And then as she descends, you hear like that transition of him switching personalities, and all of a sudden his own fist comes up and punches himself in the nose.
Fight clubs himself.
And it was just like because the camera pans really quickly, and it's like, oh, like that. Like it was just it was a blink and you miss it type thing. It was so funny. Like that was just the simplicity of him falling down. And being like, she's like, "Oh my God, are you all right?" He's like, "Yeah." And like that shit just made me laugh. Stu said, a lot of the digging into the archaeology aspect of things and what, the historical or maybe it was John, the historical context of Egyptian gods and the Macedonian king, Alexander. Like all of that stuff was great. It was fun. Like it's that National Treasure, the Mummy type adventure shit that we kind of like, right? Like, but then you have the clickers. Like as a guy who was a big fan of the Last of Us video game series, like I started hearing that clicking sound and I'm like, what the hell is that? Like that's spooky. And then it's the crypt guard, I guess, is whatever it was, and it's making that clicking noise as opposed to like a Walking Dead zombie groan or anything else. It's making this, and as much as the when you're playing The Last of Us and you see the clickers, you're like, oh, they're crazy. When it's in the dark and all you're hearing is that clicking sound, it's really unnerving. So then for that to also be transitioned into this property was like, it made me very excited to see The Last of Us TV series and hoping that we get clickers, because like that, it's a horrible sound and it freaks me out. So I like that aspect. I like that fight scene that she had. I was very interested. We said this last week. How is it going to be without Khonshu and without the powers? And it was not an episode that left me going, oh man, this guy's boring without the stuff, right? He was still fun, but Layla really stepped up into that role as well. So that's where I felt like it balanced out. And then, the conversation that Harrow has with Layla with respect to his father, I did think though, when she goes around that corner and he starts talking, I'm like, what if the chick just kept walking and he's sitting there having this like that? To me would have been brilliant. He's having this conversation. She's already halfway down the hall, not even paying attention to what this fool's saying. But at any rate, and then the end, right? Like as John said, those last 10 minutes in the insane asylum, and it makes you question whether or not these first three in third episode have all been in Stephen Grant's brain or Mark Spector's mind. Is it all been made up, right? Is this a Patrick Duffy situation where he's waking up and this has all been
Rob?
Or is it that's the, he's in a coma and he's thinking about because he got shot? Like it's very.
Would you say this is a Jacob's Ladder situation?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, totally, right? And then to know there's that third personality that is also locked in that crypt. and is trying to get out. Like, and they both stop. So once you see, Steven and Mark together, and then you see that other crypt shaking and moving, you're like, just let it out, because it's gonna be another personality. Which
like 4 episodes in, we still don't like.
Yeah, but you guys, but so at any rate, I really enjoyed it. I loved Ethan Hawke's portrayal as the Doctor. I mean, the fact that they really made you second guess whether everything we've seen has been real or not, because they explained it away with the cane and all that stuff. The tip off was, as you said, John, his office, and then also the hallway starting to tilt. That was kind of like, oh, obviously this is not reality. So overall, like, a great episode. And again, at the end of the episode, my son turned to me and goes, man, this is like my favorite Marvel show. So, even with that 10 minutes, I thought, yeah, this might kind of make him go a little bit wonky on it. He loved it. So,
and
it's 13. So
I think, yeah, it's one of those things where it's been quite an interesting experience to watch the show, because it's all over the place. And I think it's purposefully trying to disjoint you in it. In terms of Moon Knight is a powerful character. You can see him when he kind of runs through the powers, like, oh, the regenerative nature, like the strength, like all the stuff is gone. We can't do this on our own. There is that he is kind of is a badass when he is in that superhero costume, and when he's not, he's just a different person. I did like in that the subtle nature of when you're in that I guess the facility. It had all the characters, including one of the statue guy being the bingo caller, and then John, your favorite girl Lucy, was there. There were all the kind of the characters throughout this episode, throughout the series, have been basically in this insane asylum as well. So, including Layla. So it was fun. I honestly thought I'm so conditioned. When I hear a British guy with like longer hair, I immediately think it's Gaius Baltar. I'm like, ooh, is that Gaius Baltar? And I'm like, no, it's not. It's some other random British guy, because dealing with this. But it was kind of a nice nod to Indiana Jones and all the other stuff when it comes to, or the Ethan Hawke making jokes about the cheapness of this movie and no one saw it. It was, I guess like back in the day, Relic Hunter with Tia Carrera, like that Canadian, like, oh, she's around the world. I'm like, are you around the world, or are you just in Toronto? We'll call it as it is. John, as we're almost at the pinnacle episode 5, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself it being 5 enough to get you to a possible grade? Or is there nothing this show can do to get you to love it?
The last 2 episodes, we've got basically essentially a 2-hour movie ahead of us. So they can definitely rein it all in now that they've got, like I said, but they've had all these pieces on the board ready to go. And they just kind of keep taking it back. Like they reveal something, take it back. Reveal something, they think they figured it out. No, take it back. So I'm a little worried that it's just going to continue on the same pace. But I'll remain hopeful that the next 2 episodes really blow it out of the water for me, and I can watch the final 2 episodes and just watch the summary for episodes of 1 to 4 at the beginning.
I feel like, again, like another Lucy, you feel like you're being Charlie Brown, where you're making that run for that football, and then womp, womp, womp.
I'm glad it's you, not me. It's usually me who is landing on his ass.
Yeah, Rob, we've been pretty consistent, you and I, on the ratings. What can this show do to elevate it to even higher realms? Like, where are we at now? Like, what do you think we're just going to be? Is it going to plateau? Is it going to get higher? Is it going to remain the same? What are your kind of thoughts with the last 2 episodes?
Yeah, I'm not really too sure. Like, I think we did this the same question during the Hawkeye series, and I remember saying at the time, I don't know where it's going to go, and I'm completely fine with that. And I feel the same way. I feel like I can't telegraph where this was going, whereas Falcon and Soldier, you can kind of telegraph. Even WandaVision, at a certain point, you can telegraph where it was going. So I'm really happy with not knowing what's next. I will say this. The one constant complaint I've had has been the costume, the cumbersome nature of how it moves, and the fighting in it, and the lack of costume that we are getting at times. So I'd be really happy if there was some some more attention to that we get a bit more into the costume and that it doesn't look so clunky when moving around. Will that change than what it has been? I don't know. But if I'm a guessing man, obviously we know that there's a whole bunch of mini statues all over the place. So all those gods
There's
are going
an action
to be
figure.
They're all action figures. Somebody is changing those
costume.
candles and lighting them all the time.
So, I believe, Rob, I don't know if you know the history, but I believe there's a god of candle lighting that goes around this, and I believe his name is Vanus.
Oh yeah, he's the tea lighter. So I'm obviously this will happen. Khonshu will get released, and and shit's gonna go down. There's obviously going to be a battle between Harrow and Moon Knight. We know that. So as long as it's done well, then I'm excited for it. But overall, I look forward to the next episode, in part because obviously I'm enjoying the series, but also in part because I don't know what's coming next, and that's kind of exciting.
Rob,
shut up, John.
Good points. Good point, John. Where does this show fall in the pantheon of Marvel TV shows? Is this the worst one in your opinion of all the shows you've seen so far?
So far, I'm not going to say the worst. For some reason, it's just not working for me.
That's because you have What If.
I forgot about What If. Okay, so What If?
Let me rewind that statement.
So can we say live action so I don't have to deal with What If right now?
Yes.
Okay, so if we're talking live action, yeah, right now it is at the bottom because I feel like at least WandaVision and Loki were able to get like a hook in, and we're able to kind of do something interesting. Well, and we've only got 2 episodes left, so you never know. Next episode might be the bomb that blows up and gets me.
All right. What's, just for the name guess, what is your favorite Marvel TV show right now? Like, can you tell us of all time?
It has to be Hawkeye.
We were just double check. I just wanted numbers to double check.
If you want to verify, I think it fits in with the math that Hawkeye was the.
Ooh, I don't know, John. I don't know. I've been wrong before on that. Wrong several times. Rob, same question to you. Where is this falling right now on the other Marvel shows?
Yeah. So right now, I'm inclined to say it's in that top quarter, right? Like, okay, well, how many shows have we had? Right? WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier,
yep.
Loki,
yep,
Hawkeye, and
there's not much. Top quarter is like 1.
so yeah,
Rob says it's number 1 for him.
No. So I would be like, to be honest with you, right? I really enjoyed Hawkeye, so I'm inclined to put this as a second. I like it better than WandaVision. I think WandaVision only had a couple of decent episodes, but the rest of the season, it was just not a hitter for me. I didn't enjoy it. And Falcon and Winter Soldier, upon reflection, and maybe I should go back and rewatch it, but it didn't. It felt formulaic, and Loki started off strong, guys. We all talked about it, and then it just went, hell in a handbasket. So I'm kind of thinking it's 2.
I think we talked about before. WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Loki all made swings. They the highs were highs, the lows were lows. Hawkeye was the one show that was consistent all the way across. It wasn't trying to do too much. It was like, this is just Jamie Renner, and here you go, and here's Kate Bishop, Haley Steinfeld, just being cute and just being awesome the entire way across, with no real world-breaking things that everyone else had to deal with and ramifications. Because Loki, all that stuff could lead to the multiverse of madness. The Falcon Winter Soldier leads to essentially the Dark Avengers. WandaVision, same thing, leads to the multiverse of madness. Everything of that nature had to set up for something else. Hawkeye kind of set up for nothing, and as we know, there probably won't be another season. It just set up another show with Maya, Echo, and then Moon Knight is on its own island. It has nothing to do with anything. So each of them had their own directives and had their own objectives. I think right now, until we see the last 2, we'll have to hold our breath and see. But I think I've enjoyed this refreshing breath of fresh air. Like even watching our favorite show, Peacemaker. There was a lot of you had to watch the movie to kind of get like the nuance of like you didn't have to, but it was helpful to watch Suicide Squad to like especially 1 and 2 to like get Waller and the other things sorted out. So, all right, we are gonna wait and see what happens, but we're all excited. Episode 5 from the Inside Scoop should be awesome. Fingers are crossed. John, where can they find you?
Wait. I have one quick question though. Stu, leading into this week's episode, this was what a lot of the reviewers were saying. Oh, episode 4. We kept talking about it. Even we ourselves had it here last week. So did you, and I know it's not fair for me to put John on the spot because he didn't care for the episode, but do you think that it lived up to the hype? Because there was a lot of people saying episode 4 is where it's really going to like shit's going down.
I think, to your point, Rob, episode 4 did elevate a lot of the themes, and once you got that grainy video piece, you're like, oh, what is this Tomb Raider thing? And then boom, it drops into the facility. It did kind of ramp it up. It was like in Bad Boys 2, a bonus action sequence in Cuba for no reason, where the car was jumping through. You're like, oh, I thought the movie was over. It's like, what is going on, Michael Bay? Like a whole new action sequence started. So I think, again, we were concerned that Marvel was like, oh, this is too slow, let's release it. And then some people have gotten episode 5 and said, oh, you know what, guys, don't worry, episode 5. I thought episode 4 was my favorite. I stand corrected. It's actually episode 5. So I think they've strategically leaked to certain people to just say, hey, guys, just stay with this journey. To John's point, they're lucky that they are doing this week by week model. It continues the conversation. It's forcing John to watch it. If it was all dumped via Netflix, yeah, we would have bailed a long time ago, or John would have bailed. It would kind of like
now people are going to speculate if the whole thing has been flipped now because that last 10 minutes.
Yeah,
which I doubt it. I think this is a dream sequence as a result of him being shot, but you never know. This could be a whole Fight Club Memento situation where everything just got completely turned around and all that stuff you just watched is absolutely useless, and now we got a whole different show.
Yep, exactly. All right, John, where can we find you on the desert of the real and in the internets?
Yeah. So Heroes World Online, to find us online, essentially. So Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, even the website, you'll find all via Heroes World Online, all one word. Search us out. You can hit us up on any of those forms of contact and things like that. If you're listening to us on the audio, Heroes World Podcast on Spotify and iTunes and wherever you get your podcasts. I really like Spotify, so check it out. And if you want to check us out in the desert of the real, as Andre likes to say, we're on 8601 Warden Avenue, located in Markham, Ontario. Tons and tons of stuff. We just got restocks of the Moon Knight Omnibus and a whole bunch of the trade paperbacks. And we will be carrying the new hot toys and all the other kind of fun stuff that comes out with it. So definitely come visit us in person and check out our wares.
What's going on the Sidekick show this week, Rob?
So Stu, listen, man, if we go in the way back time machine, way back to March 8th of 2022, the Batman dropped. And then if you just say, wait, what? And it's April 21st. Guess what? It's on HBO Max in the US or in Crave on Canada. So as a result, we haven't had an opportunity to talk with everybody on the Sidekick show about the Batman. So join us Monday night, 8:15 live on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. The link is in the description below or on the YouTube channel. We are talking the Batman. So you have an opportunity to check it out. You could own it if you want to through your digital provider or watch it on Crave in Canada or, as I said, HBO Max in the US. And if you've already seen it in theaters, then come join us because we did this with Spider-Man No Way Home, and it was a lot of fun being able to talk about a modern movie without really getting into spoilers because everybody had seen it. So we're going to do it again with the Batman Monday, 8:15 live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us today. We will be back next week talking about episode 5. Hopefully, John will change his tune. And guys, 100 out of 100. This is my new favorite show. Wait, bated breath and see if that's the case, or the math doesn't matter, and we'll see. So
the points don't matter.